Let's make it down to my most probable location. Hold on, I was turning. What was that over there? On the right-hand side. The shadow could be different because I was turning. Okay, right there. It is. Today is Friday the 13th, and we have 3 cases today I want to bring to your attention that we're going to be searching. The first one, we have Charles Brandon Cook, who went missing 1999, driving his 1992 Ford Tempo. Douglasville, Texas is where he was at, with stories that he was supposed to be coming home to Idabel. Now, he went missing July 1st, coming home 4th of July weekend. Are we looking at, did we just break up with a girlfriend? Did we have other issues going on? Did we lose a job? Is this potentially, a self-harm situation? So while we're in Idabel, another case was brought to our attention. Now, sometimes some of these cases have a hint of, could it potentially be foul play? Well, the thing is we have to just completely throw that out the window, and we don't focus on actual foul play, because in the past we have solved cases to where for 30 years people thought that it was foul play and it turned out to be nothing more than an accident. We're gonna go ahead and take this case on as well. It's the case of Eric Haley. We're looking for a white Toyota Camry on this one. Now, there was somebody who reached out to us, family member or friend, and they said that there might be a tie to Broken Bow Lake. Now, the thing is Broken Bow Lake is a good, 20 plus miles from here, so it's outside of our normal 5-mile radius, our 10-mile radius, even our 15-mile radius that we're kind of pushing the limits to. But when we get into rural areas like this here in Idabel, Oklahoma, there's only so many locations to look. So very similar to my place over in Central Oregon, there's one big main central lake that everybody goes to. So we have Eric that went missing July 31st of this year, was reported 3 days later by his ex-wife that he was missing. We also have a third case we're going to be keeping on our radar today. It's out of Mount Pleasant, Texas, which is about an hour to the south. But the reason why we have that on our map, in fact, let me just jump to to our map where I put all this out, and I'm going to explain it to you right now.
For families who have all but given up on finding their loved ones, this team is a last hope. Civilian divers cracking cold cases for free.
First thing we have is we have the Idabel, Oklahoma right here. We have a 5-mile ring, 10-mile, and a 15-mile radius. Normally, we're going to start within the 5-mile radius and work out. But this one's a little bit different because although we have Eric that never seemed to have left the area that we know of, we have Brandon who was down in the Douglasville area. So now he's coming back to Idabel. So now we need to start taking a look at the routes. The first one is that I'm actually most probable for me as far as Brandon is, let's say, and again, all speculation, I'm putting myself in his head, depressed, I really don't want to go home for the 4th of July weekend, I have all these things going on, and this is if it is, a self-harm situation to where we have the one and only boat ramp within a 5-mile radius as he starts his drive back towards Idabel. So we're going to be checking this boat ramp out, but it's going to be near the end of the day. So along potential routes for Brandon, though, just to finish bringing this full circle, is we have the road to the north with another boat ramp here at the river. We have another river access over here if he would have taken this route over and to the north into Idabel. So those 3 are more of a self-harm situation. I do, however, have an accident location that we will be taking a look at later on today for Brandon, and that is right along, US 259 right here. If he, could have veered off. I don't know what time of day that he ended up leaving, but let's say that he was tired, he fell asleep, it was an hour drive, or he was reaching down for, a cassette or whatever, veered off, and he ended up in Long Log Lake. So we're going to take a look at that one as an accident location. But then let's come back to it's a self-harm, he's from the area, he wants to go to something that he really knows, and he knows, you know, a deeper lake, if this is the theory, you know, if this is the theory and the speculation on it. So what if he did make it to Idabel? What if he did decide to head north up to Broken Bow Lake? There is a potential access point here into the Little River, not an accident location. Again, this one is on purpose. And then as we get up to the lake itself, now the thing is with Brandon, we're dealing with July 1st, just a few days before 4th of July weekend, which means the lake itself is going to be, in my opinion, very congested at all of the most easily accessible boat ramps. But we don't want to leave any stone unturned, especially when we have not just one Brandon we're looking for, but also Eric. So with Broken Bow being mentioned, we have, first of all, we have the marina here. Well, in my opinion, the marina is 100% going to be out of the question for both of them. So I'm not putting any focus, any emphasis on the marina, just way too populated, whether it was July 1st or July 31st. What I am interested in, though, is let's say it's a little bit later at night. Let's say that we end up heading over here to this boat ramp after people have gone home at night. So I'm interested in the first boat ramp here, and I think this is where I'm going to put in and start our day. Now, at the very end of this peninsula, we have two other parking lots. Now, these parking lots, we have been in situations where we have found and recovered individuals who chose to launch their vehicle off. And with this being a peninsula, sitting up a little bit higher, there is potential, you know, to gun it, end up over into the water at both this location as well as this location. So I want to make sure that while we're at this boat ramp, we come out to the peninsula and we check, you know, all the way around there. Now from there, across the lake, if I was to drive around, it's going to take us an hour and a half to get around, plus another hour and a half to get back, because the one and only road for this Burke's Landing, you have to come into it from the east and the south. So what I'm going to do is that the distance from the point here over to Burke's Landing is 2 miles. My boat does, you know, like 5-6 miles an hour. So it's going to take us, you know, 20-30 minutes to get over and back. But this little landing right here is so secluded. I don't care if it's July 1st or July 31st. Could be people up there camping at that moment in time, could not be. But because it's so secluded, I want to make sure that we check Burke's Landing off the list. Once we come back, I do want to then check out this other boat ramp. I put not likely on it, and the reason for it is there's a lodge right up above. However, although I feel like it's not likely, it's not like the marina to where I'm taking it off the list 100%. So I am going to check this one if we've not found Brandon or Eric at this point. From there, there's one more location at Broken Bow Lake, just to the north. Again, this one's a little secluded, a little bit longer to get to, but I do feel as though, you know, if we're going to cover everything at Broken Bow Lake, we want to make sure that we hit that boat ramp as well. From there, let's say that we don't find a white Toyota Camry. Let's say we don't find a 1992 Ford Tempo for either one of the guys. We are then going to start working our way back down towards Douglasville. We're first going to check the location right here at the river. We're then going to check our accident location that we have along Brandon's route. We're then going to make our way to the east a little bit. So this one over here near Maxine, we're going to leave out right now. So we're going to check the boat ramp right here, and then we'll make our way down to what I feel, if this is a self-harm with Brandon, that falls into the parameters of what's most probable and most likely for us in that situation is going to be the one and only boat ramp within that 5-mile radius for Brandon if he chose to do this on his own. So we'll be checking that location, maybe at the last location of the day, but if we still have a little bit of daylight left and we've not found either one of them, we're then going to make our way over towards Mount Pleasant, where we're going to start the case of Maxine tomorrow. Along that route is going to be one more river access point for Brandon. If he was leaving Douglasville, he could have been taking this route up to Idabel. So that's kind of our game plan for today, and fingers crossed, Friday the 13th. It's got to be lucky for us. I hope so. Let's go see if we can find him.
The sheriff's office says they are still actively searching for this missing man, Eric Haley.
Yeah, so you take a look at the marina. So here we are, January 13th, dead of winter, and you still have a lot of traffic down here. Now these two spots could be potential. I don't feel as though that's very big. Right there for a car, no, because you have a drop off that goes like this. So anybody that's doing this one on purpose, knowing that you have a little bump, but then it flattens out again before it goes out, you're gonna damage the car. This one I'm also gonna say no, but we're gonna be coming past it from the boat ramp anyway. So we'll go ahead and scan it anyway for a car to drive down. But what I do, and I am interested in, is even though that drops off some, it's actually a straight shot. So we definitely want to check out this entire peninsula out here. I'm gonna get turned around here. All right, we are set up for the day. I'm gonna say probably about 90 minutes or so. We're gonna be on the lake here. We're gonna be doing this first boat ramp, peninsula, Burke's Landing across the way, and then we're actually close enough. You can see that lodge over there. That's the other location that I wanted to search. So we'll, although I don't feel like that one's like highly likely, we're close enough that we'll just go ahead and knock that out while we're at this location. All right, we are 3 feet deep right there. This one's not calibrated yet. It says 8 feet. All right, nice clean bottom, 4 feet deep, 6 feet, clear water. So in this little cove, if there was a car here, I'm betting that somebody would have seen it already. Give me a car, 15 feet deep. All right, no car there. Now, another thing we have is we have some of these little group campsites here also. And so we're gonna circle through and just make sure that anywhere there's some road access coming out on this peninsula that we cover these shorelines appropriately. Because although it's not a drop off, it's also not like smooth, but it's smooth enough that a car can come down through there. Okay, 9 feet deep, 10 feet deep, so plenty deep here. You know, each one of these little campsites looks like they have like their own little private embankment that you can get stuff in. That makes these really secluded, prime locations for if a vehicle needed to get down here. That little downward ramp access that we talked about as we were driving the RV in here today. Nice little swimming cove is what this is. Not too deep for the kids. I mean, it's 8 feet deep, but it's like kind of tucked in, so even on a windy day. As we're scanning today, let me give you a little bit of a rundown as to what we're looking at when we're looking at a sonar. First of all, we have the Hummingbird, which we refer to as more of a picture in time. We're using down imaging and side imaging. And so a picture in time, you can see like on the side imaging, I can scroll back to it and I can be like, all right, that's something that's sticking up. Let me look at it. What's the height? What's the shape? Over here on the left-hand side, you know, oh, okay, well that's a log. But I can zoom in on it as well and just kind of check it out and see, you know, what it might be. I can also just put my finger on it and make a little waypoint. So I'm like, okay, I like that. Let me create a waypoint, and now that point will be marked for me so I can come back and map to it later if I need to. The top one is our down imaging, so it's pointing straight down. Anything you see in black is going to be water column. So you see it goes from 0 to 15 for the grid line. Over on the left-hand side, you'll see the depth marker. So as our depth changes, that water column changes, the depth will change and the black will change with the grids. That one is automatic. Now the side imaging, the bottom one, is we're casting 75 feet to the left and 75 feet to the right. So we're picking up the shore and we're picking up another 75 feet to the left over here. The boat icon is our direction of travel, and again, anything that's black is our water column. So just think about it directly underneath the boat. It hits the bottom of the floor bed, the lake bed, river bed, whatever, and then that's where it's casting to. Usually we're going to pick a vehicle up or our target up on side scan first, and it'll say, all right, we are 15 feet away or 35 feet away, move over that way. And then as we move over to it, then we'll start using our down imaging and our live scope to really pinpoint and put ourselves directly over the top of it. So with our live scope, it's happening in real time. We can't scroll back, we can't see what's going on. But with that one, we can get right over the top of it and we can drop our magnet on there and mark our target, and then we'll dive from there. So between those three, it really allows us to triangulate into where we need to be when we spot a target under the water. So the point of this peninsula out here, not of high interest to me, as those rocks stair step down, but there's one or two points over here next to these barbecue grills. It's more smooth to drive a vehicle straight down. And then that little inlet swimming area that we were just at on the other side, we're not that far away from the one on this side, so we're going to double check that one while we're here as well. One little object over here I want to double check. Yeah, not a car. All right, so here's that other swimming hole. And I guess you could get a car in right here without any issue, and it's 15 feet deep. And, oh, what is that on the left? No, it's not big enough. We just got two logs laying next to one another, two more logs in a straight line over on the right hand side, another log, and a rock. All right, that clears this one. Now we're going to be kind of a, hold on, I was turning. What was that over there on the right hand side? The shadow could be different because I was turning. Okay, right there. It is 5 feet tall. We're coming over it right there. What is that? I think we have a vehicle. You see that? We might have a car here. It's a boat. Okay, so see if I zoom in on this. See the boat right there? See the windshield on it? So there on live scope. Yeah, so see, you can see the bow of it, you can see the windshield of it, and you can see the back of it right there on live scope. All right, well, that one rules that out. Not a car. We have another little hidden spot here. If you look straight in front of the boat, there's a car that's at one of those other little campsites over there, so let's go check that out. We have a lot more spots on this lake than originally anticipated. It's a nice hole over here. I mean, it's 15 feet all the way around this. Alright, so that clears this little hidden cove. Now we'll head over there to Burke's Landing. 2 miles across the lake. Should be a 15 to 20 minute boat ride. And that's going to be our furthest, most secluded spot on the lake that we want to search today. rather than putting back in at the boat ramp where we are initially at, the little cove or whatever that I was interested in is right there where that little hotel cabin thing is at. But instead, I want to run up to that furthest boat ramp that we were also interested in, that we have on our Star Topo map today. So we're gonna hit this spot next, and then circle back around through this cove and identify if there's any other little camping areas that we need to search. And total time, I'm gonna say we're gonna be on the water for another hour and a half, 2 hours. So 30 minutes over, another hour down. But we're gonna feel good about covering and clearing as much of this lake as we can that's gonna make sense for us today. Let's see if we get lucky at this location and find one of the 2 cars we're looking for here. You know, the other car we're looking for, now I don't think that Maxine is this far to the north, but she's going to be part of the case where, as we get closer down to Douglasville today. But with her vehicle is a 1965 Monte Carlo. So I'd love to find not just her, but find that car as well. A lot of tires down here. You can see them on side scan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tires, 9 tires. A lot of times when we find a section of tires like that, back in the day they used to use tires on docks. So there could have been a dock that was out here, tires as the bumpers and the cushions, and then over time the ropes just wore out or rotted, and then the tires fell in the river or the lake. So that's why a lot of times you'll see a grouping of tires like that. But because it's the lodge, especially in July, 4th of July weekend, as well as a month later for, July 31st, I just do not see this as a probable location at all. Roll it down the road, go check out that little river creek or whatever it was. I think that's gonna be our next location on the far side of the road. All right, does this go down all the way to the river? Oh yeah, that gets deep in there. It looks like it drops off quick. I like that. Like if you want to launch a car off of here, you could absolutely launch it right through there. But over here, there's another good spot. Oh yeah, we'll take the boat down right here. We'll carry it down right there. Every episode, we want to take a moment and say thank you to each and every one of you, our viewers. Simply by being here and watching our videos, it helps us come out to do these searches to help these families in search of their lost loved ones, free of charge to them as well as law enforcement. It costs you nothing. Subscribing is free. In addition to that, we ask that you jump over to our website. One is not just to help us, but to potentially help you and your family as well. We do have some 2-in-1 window breakers available over there. These are the new 2023 version, to where the pins have been updated. They are 170% stronger with a tungsten steel blade in there that will pop any windows just in case you end up underwater, or you end up in a car fire, you end up trapped in your vehicle and you need to bust a window out. That little guy will do it right there. In addition to that, the 2-in-1 part is the seatbelt cutter. That way, if you're stuck upside down, your seatbelt's jammed, whatever the reason, you can cut yourself out as well. Those are available over at adventureswithpurpose.com, as well as hats, shirts, additional merch, anything you can do to help us out. You are the reason why we're able to be out here on the road, and we thank each and every one of you again. So, number one thing, take a moment, hit that subscribe button. We're gonna jump in the water right now. Every location, we're hopeful. This one we are too, so let's see if we can go find Eric or Brandon today. There we go, moment of truth. It is, what, only 5 feet deep? I'm shocked beyond belief that it's only 5 feet deep. Almost looks like a boat trailer or something there. Not very deep though. So it appears as though some nice big floods come through here, but the thing with cars, one thing that you have to know is usually cars over the years, whether it's, a year later or 15 years later, most of those cars, once they go in, they're not going to move. Think of them almost like a turtle, to where they sit on the bottom, the water comes and it pushes over this side, and then it creates like a back eddy over here, so it pulls it. So it's a pushing and pulling motion that once the car settles into the silt and sediment, it doesn't move. Similar to, pretty much every car that we've ever done that you've seen on our videos, that's exactly how it's been. We've found cars that are, 10, 15, 30 years old. They haven't moved in 30 years. Yeah, you have a whole hillside there that just kind of gave way. The riverbank used to be like this, and the thing dropped in the last 50 feet or so. Yep. Whoever got those for me last year from our Amazon wish list, thank you. Thank you very much. And then that'll leave us at 2 more locations to check. Long Log Lake, and then the other one that's within the 5-mile radius of Douglasville, about an hour and 10 minutes down the road. This location up here, we're like within a quarter mile of, is the one and only potential accident location, in my opinion, along the entire route. All right, give me something deep, at least 5 feet, 10 feet. Both of them are confirming 1.3 feet deep only, but oh crap, so shallow we just hit the bottom. Can't just get in one spot and rule it out. We're gonna hit the entire thing along the road here. All right, well, we can turn sonars off, we can turn recordings off, and let's make it down to my most probable location if we were looking at Douglasville only. The one boat ramp within the 5-mile radius closest to his house, or the reason why he was down in Douglasville. So this one is going to be for Brandon only. This is not going to be for Eric. This is not going to be for Maxine. This is a strictly Douglas 5-mile radius. Also a lake, so we don't have moving water like we would in a river that's going to bury the car. So if the car came in here 22 years ago, it's still going to be here 22 years later, exposed. This location is not going to just take us, 5 minutes to check. We have multiple times now found individuals who've gone over bridges. They're building a brand new bridge on the far side, on the west side over there, but you have this old bridge that's still in use. So I want to double check everything. We're going to hit this boat ramp, and then we're going to treat that bridge as an accident location that he could have clipped in another car. He could have rolled over the guardrail. 20 years ago, it could have been fixed. Nobody paid attention to it. You just never know. We want to make sure that we check this right. So that's our game plan on this one. And it's probably gonna be dark by the time we get back, but let's get it done. Two feet, 3 feet. That is not a hole that I'm looking for. There we go, it's getting a little deeper there. Not much. 6 feet, deep enough, okay. We're far enough out here, could be a car. 8 feet, thank you. 10 feet, even better. And right here is gonna be about the max on where a car is gonna be if there's a car in here. A lot of fish, but no car. 20 years ago, the boat ramp could be positioned just a little bit different, so we're going to run a little shoreline right here, and then we're going to run over to the bridge. Up each one of these pillars on side scan. You see the bright gold portion of it, and then you see the shadow behind it. We definitely covered a lot of territory today. Were we successful? Absolutely, in being able to tell these families where their lost loved ones were not. We're not done yet, as we're going to continue our search tomorrow closer to Mount Pleasant in search of Maxine, as well as one additional location that we definitely want to check out where Brandon might be as well. Wish us luck tomorrow, and if you've not done so already, again, please subscribe. It is free. Turn on that bell notification, that way you get a notice anytime we upload another video. We'll see you on tomorrow's search. That's it for now. Have a good night.